Many months back, after sailing upwind through the thorny path to St. Martin, I badly needed to make repairs and pick up some spare parts. I was pleasantly surprised when I came across Island Waterworld, a major chandlery superstore which stocked everything I could or would need for my sailboat. As I got to work, I noticed other sailboats around me who'd fallen on rough times, and I wanted to help. After a meeting with the managing director, the Sailor Samaritan Fund was born, a collaboration program to help active sailors in need by keeping them sailing. This is the story of one person the Sailor Samaritan Fund helped through the generous support of Island Waterworld. Here I am back at Island Waterworld today with Jay. Jay, why are we at Island Waterworld today?
My chain is toast. It's rusting out in that, so we got to replace it.
Come on, how bad could it be? You could always reuse chain.
You think so,
yeah?
But it's actually falling apart and leaving scales all over the deck as you bring it up and down.
Ooh. So Jay, how did your chain get so bad? What did you do?
Because I bought the Chinese brand chain versus the American made chain. Everybody told me make sure you get American made because it's going to last longer, and that's exactly what happened. 2 years later, it's scaling, rusting out real bad.
So why is it important to have good anchor chain? Why don't you just go with something small, cheap, and just call it a day? Why is it important to have good anchor chain?
Makes you sleep better at night.
How do you figure?
When it's not rusting out and you're afraid the links are going to break on you because it's rusting, that you start worrying about it at night.
It's true.
Going up a size in chain from a 1/4 inch chain to 5/16 chain, you got all that extra weight on it. Again, you sleep better because you know you're going to hold better. You're not going to drag.
And actually, your holding power is better the thicker your chain. Theoretically, if you had 1 inch thick chain, that'd be great, but you can't really pull that up. Right. Now, 1/4 inch, which is what you have, I would say is too small for your boat.
It was working.
It was working
for 2 years with no problems.
But
it's
on the sketchy.
It's on the sketchy side.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to pay out more chain because of the weight of it.
Yeah, so the heavier your chain, the less length you actually have to put out because it holds you down better.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
All right, so we have a good idea of what we want. He's got the gypsy with him. We're gonna go in there, take a look, and see what we can get.
There you go.
Back here with Ron again, here to help us out. Ron, let's take a look at the chain and see what we got and see what needs to be the right one for Jay today.
It's 5/16 and G4 if you have it.
G4?
Yeah.
We have G30. I gonna have to go check upstairs.
Okay.
See what we got in the system.
Okay.
We're up here with all the chain. Take a look at this. This is 1/4 inch.
I think it's 1/4 inch.
This is the length, or this is the thickness of what's been holding Jay's boat in place. This is tiny. Compare that to the new stuff. Look at that difference. I can't believe it. This is stuff they used to like hold dogs down, and he's been keeping his whole boat on it.
See how it fits all the way in between each link? That's it right there.
Now the troubling part about this is there's 5/16 G4, 5/16 G30, all these different ones, and then as well the material that each one is made out of can be different. So it can be a bit of a complicated process, so you really want to bring your gypsy to make sure you get the right one.
Did you see how this fit when I put it in? That fits perfect on there. That's awesome.
He's really happy about the way it fits in, folks.
Yeah. Thanks to Daniel for helping me get this sorted.
Yeah, really thanks to Island Waterworld. Like, to be honest, I do not have the money to do this, but Island Waterworld is great in helping. Anyway, no, we're both here though to help out sailors like Jay, and I'm so happy to get to see the look on his face because your ground tackle is so important. It's absolutely vital. I mean, I would say first priority is making sure your boat doesn't take on water. Second priority, it really is that it can stay in place where you want it to. So this looks great. Galvanization on this looks really good as well. Yeah, that's a nice thickness of it.
Good weight on it.
Yeah, that's really good. So Jay is hoping to get 220 feet, but 200 if they've got it. I mean, I assume that's all one thing in there. That's gotta be way more than 200 in there.
I would think it's more than 200.
Yeah, way more.
So the trick is when we take it to the boat, we won't want to drag that around on the concrete or on hard surfaces because that'll take the galvanizing off of it, and that's what starts to rust also.
Yeah, you can scratch the chain and that really does a lot of damage to it once you start getting salt water into it, which loves to get into all those little spaces. And as you guys are gonna see with Jay's chain, it's some pretty bad stuff.
Yes. It's actually rusted together right now.
No way, so you mean like it's joined, it's like rust welded?
It's rust welded, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we'll have to pull it apart to get it out of anchor.
So look at that, we want to test the chain. That's really the ultimate way to do it.
That's working perfect.
Great. We just found out too, the price is $3.10 US per foot. That's a great price even if you were in the US. And I'm not just saying that because obviously we love Island Water World. Yo. No, that actually is a good price. Also, down here in the Caribbean, things are usually pretty expensive, but that's a great price. You're able to hook Jay up here today. This is great.
I want to thank you all, Island Water World, for doing this. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Jay just had a really good idea, which while it's all laid out here, let's mark it. It's a lot easier to mark it here while you got it all laid out than wait till you get back at the dock. We're just gonna use some zip ties and get it done. Safety first.
Yeah.
All right. And this is 200 feet of 5/16. It's actually pretty cool to be able to take a look at the cross section of this chain. I'm no expert, but that's some good looking steel. Yep, I trust this to hold my boat. You could actually buy special things to mark your chain, but honestly they normally fall out and most cruisers just use some zip ties.
So we marked the chain at 60 feet because that's the minimum that we'll ever put in the water. And then it goes every 20 feet after that. So I'm marking the 100 foot and I'm putting 3 ribbons on it so I know we have 100 feet. And then we can start going back from there.
So that is the method to the madness. How much do you think this barrel is gonna weigh at the end of it?
Oh, a lot. I'll be nose heavy.
Jay is always the working man. Can't let people do something without helping.
Good seeing you again. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. You had the right one. So, thank you so much.
Not only is Island Water World helping out with this here for Jay, but they're also going to deliver us all the way back to the harbor of Woburn. Pretty great. Well, it couldn't get any worse.
A little rain won't hurt us.
No, we're worried about the chain though. The chain might rust.
Might get wet.
Might get wet. We don't want that. I'm not sure, but if that's as close as you can get, might as well.
Yeah, man.
Logistics with a boat are never easy. Today's no exception.
Yeehaw!
Looks like we managed to get everybody in at once. Including about, how much do you think this chain weighs?
250, 300 pounds.
Woo! It's a bit of chain. All right, so now that all the shopping part has been done, the real work can begin. Look at this stuff. That is, look at that. And this is like the used end of the chain. Man, I can't imagine what it's like in there.
That's after I flipped it once.
Oh, it's already been flipped. So for those of you that don't know, and I'll actually be doing this on my boat as well, but basically a chain gets so used there closest to the anchor because that's what's always going in the water. So what you do is once you feel like it's been used enough, you flip it. You take it and you pay it all out in shallow water on a dock, you don't want to lose it, and then you connect it to the back end, which hasn't seen any action, and you get a lot more life out of it that way. So the fact that Jay has flipped this once and it still looks this bad says quite a bit. I can't wait to see the rest.
We'll go on that instead.
Ooh, it's just orange everywhere down there. Jeez.
And look at how it's rusted
Oh,
together.
you're not kidding, look at that. That is so bad.
You can't even pull it apart.
Oh my God, that actually hurts.
Yeah.
It's like split.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why we're replacing it. And that's why we're replacing it. And see the scaling on it? As you break it apart.
Can you break it?
See all that stuff falling off?
Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's bad.
And look at how thin it is now that it's look at how thin that one is.
And remember, you're trusting your entire house, your home, and potentially your life to this stuff while you're trying to sleep in the night with a storm raging around you. And you're hoping that this tiny, cheap, Chinese-made chain will hold you. Yeah, Jay, I'm super happy we were able to get this together, man, and work this out.
Thanks, Island Water World.
Yeah, seriously, Island Water World, thank you for helping out other sailors. And by the way, I'll just say it right now in this video real quick that I will be looking to help a few other sailors here as well as while I sail back up the Caribbean chain. Hoping to help somebody else out in St. Lucia and all the way up in St. Martin. So if you know anybody, please shoot me a comment, an email, let me know who they are and a way to reach out. Look at that difference. Jay, are you happy, buddy?
I am so excited. What a difference. Buy the good chain first off. Daniel and I were talking what I paid on the chain originally. I paid almost $1,000 for the 1/4-inch chain. At Island Water World, the 5/16 chain, it was
$560 total.
$560 total.
US, yeah.
So that's a great price. So get your stuff down here. Don't be afraid to wait. I mean, it's...
Oh, you're just trying to pull, oh.
I'm trying to get that one out and I can't get it out.
I thought you were just doing B-roll.
No, I'm literally trying to get it.
Don't cut yourself.
Unlocked. You could try to tap it right in the center.
Hey, we got it.
You see all the shit?
See, there's still a little more life left in this chain. So it looks like we didn't escape the rain after all. Still gonna get wet out here, but there's work to be done. We are gonna have to break apart some of this old chain to get it replaced in here. As well, Jay, show us how you set it up. So you got the stainless steel here. It looks like he's got 2 hard shackles. I'm sure you got a good reason for that. Probably just to get it through there.
Yeah.
But then you put seizing wire through this as well.
And seizing wire.
Seizing wire on that. And that just prevents it so nothing can come unscrewed. Again, you gotta think, your whole house, your whole everything is holding on to each one of these links. And imagine when the links look like this, that you're trying to hold your life, everything you own onto it. Nah, it's not a good time. All right, Jay, so why do you have 2 hard shackles on here? What's the deal here?
So I had to replace the swivel that was in it, and the only shackle that I could get had too big of a
too big of a bolt, yeah.
to fit in there.
What about the new one? Is the new one going to be able to?
New one should fit right in.
Oh, that'll be great.
Be
So just one.
Down and keep this as a spare.
You really want to have as few failure points as possible, and every time you have to have one of these screw things in there, just a little bit more stress. So being able to go straight into it, much better. So it's pretty good that we got everything already marked up, which is really good. Yeah. We're gonna get it all up onto here, and I guess then we got to start getting this back out. We can pay that back into the boat.
Right.
We're hoping to find a local who needs a chain for a really small boat, or maybe to make a mooring ball out of, something like that. So hopefully we can get some more use out of this, even though it's obviously pretty done. So Jay was just saying that it's actually important which end they get down first, which I didn't understand. And this is just how boat projects go. There's always another level of complexity while you're getting wet in the rain. So anyway, Jay, why is it so important that we get that end down first?
Because we marked it at 60 feet to the first mark.
Yep.
From the anchor.
This one.
The other side. This is the one that goes in the well because the mark.
Oh, so the other one we pulled up first starts your counter.
Right.
This one,
from here
gotcha.
Into the well.
Gotcha.
Right off the bat.
Well, all right then, let's get her done. Look at that teamwork. And by the way, folks, I do want to finally introduce, this is John. John is Jay's crew member, and you're going to be learning from him. Oh, it's like some of the knots that have been caused in this thing. Yeah, this was such a good project for Jay to get done. I'm really happy.
Again, thank you for Island Water World.
Yeah.
I cannot express it enough.
Yep, she's definitely got it up. Look at how knotted that up.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
So I'm going to show you real quick. We marked the other one with tie wraps. I usually use ribbons.
Oh, wow.
And this one here shows me that I'm at 150 feet because it's red and green. Okay.
We'll take your word for it. It looks just rust colored and rust colored to me.
I just know what the
Look at
the
this
colors
thing. Oh, let's pull
This
that
is just
beauty
one
out
big
of it.
knot.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Wow. That's like something off of a shipwreck.
Yeah.
That is so nasty.
Another big one.
Now we got to break that apart.
I
to
know,
get
I'm
that
from
piece.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and say that maybe we don't donate this. Maybe this is just the end of this chain. Wow.
When you break that loose.
Then that hard shackle is gonna be hard shackled into there. So if you run to the very end of your chain, you don't, you know, go bye-bye. Whoa, looks like Jay's doing some weightlifting. Jay, what are these called and what are they for?
We use them as sentinels for the anchor. So if you're short on road going out, you can put extra weight on it and that acts like extra chain.
Yeah, it helps hold your chain down, which means your anchor is gonna stay level to the ground and actually bite in better. It's really great, like Jay said, if you need it. Probably something that I could start carrying, actually.
So instead of doing 7-to-1 like I do normally, you know, I'm in an anchorage, I have to do a 3-to-1 ratio for anchoring. I'll drop 1 or 2 of these on the chain as it goes down.
And so for those of you that don't know, the ratio of chain you put out, Jay mentioned 7-to-1. I would say that that's probably standard. I usually just honestly put out 10-to-1 because I go to places that have lots of space, because I hate being out and then all of a sudden I get hit by some gnarly storm like this one. So you never really know what the weather's gonna do and you wanna be as prepared for it as possible. But sometimes you can't put out as much chain as you would like. That's called your scope. Now, generally speaking, most people put 5 to 7-to-1. That's kind of normal, and that really ensures that you're not gonna be dragging if there is a storm that comes through. However, say you're in a really tight anchorage, like right now this is a mooring field, but I've seen people anchored in places much tighter than this. So say you're in 10 feet of water, that means you need to put down at least, say, 70 feet of chain. But if you can't do that, that 7-to-1, if you can't do that, instead you put out the 3, and then you put these out probably midway through at about 15 feet, and that will help hold everything down. And every bit helps. All right, how goes the cleanup effort in there?
We're getting there.
Ooh, that looks dirty.
Yeah.
There's an incredible amount of rust. Wow, it's already looking better. Now, normally you'd want to take a brush to this and maybe use a thing that is on-off, which is kind of an acid, and that would actually take away a lot of what's down there. We don't really have time for that today, so at a later date, Jay's gonna try to pay out all of his chain someplace at a shallow anchorage, be able to work in there, and then put it back in. But he actually has to get sailing soon, so we want to get this done as fast as possible. Wow, so this is gonna be so much less rust, and it's actually really important for the deck to be clean on this boat. Why is that, you may ask?
Because we collect rainwater.
Jay does not have a water maker. He goes old school, but he does have this beautiful tow rail that goes around this nice thick lip, so he can collect all this water that comes back. So it's just one more benefit to getting a nice new chain. It's kind of incredible on a boat how many things will affect something else. You would never think that, like, hey, if my chain's rusty, you know, I'm gonna get tetanus or whatever when I drink some water. But, like, you know, that's actually a possibility out here. I gotta say, I really like this clip setup he's got. This goes perfectly right onto the anchor. And then you can take this and put this through 1, 2, or 3 of these, which is just so handy to be able to do. I think I'll probably do something similar, but I might just get a 20 pound weight or something, or maybe 2 of these 10-pound ones. There's really no reason, if you're gonna do this, to just do 1 10-pound. You might as well do all 3 of them. One more big benefit to these sentinels that Jay has is if you're in a place that has wind against tide, it's really frustrating because on a boat like mine, I'll actually start spinning around my anchor chain and it'll end up scratching against the bottom. Not only is it bad for the bottom paint, you know, you could hit your depth sounder, you could hit your propeller, you could hit your rudder. It actually has hit my keel and done damage to the back of my keel before, but it keeps you awake. Something really cool you can do with these sentinels as well is you can prevent the chain from scratching your hull by clipping these on, maybe say just 10 feet in front of you, and that'll really hold down that chain. So as you start to swivel around, your keel and your rudder will miss it and you'll never scratch on it. Very useful.
Who's bleeding, guys?
All right, blood check. Who is it?
On my elbow or something?
I'm gonna guess it's your feet.
Your feet, maybe?
No.
Yeah, sorry, this is how it works.
Oops, we just realized that we didn't pull the bitter end of the chain out, which is now underneath the pile, that needs to get attached to the boat.
This is how boat projects go.
Feed it up and I just set it all here now. Then we can just feed it in.
Now, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna dump the chain over when we get the windlass.
And then
and
Oh,
then we'll stop. We'll watch it real carefully.
And if they miss the chain when they're dumping it, they're gonna call me because I'm the only one that can free dive down 45 feet to where they are right now. Here's the big moment.
Yeah. You remember we had 2 shackles on this before. One because we couldn't get the shackle pin through the 1/4-inch chain. Well, now.
Oh, barely. No, that's actually pretty good. That actually has a good amount of space. You don't want too much space.
You notice I'm going just shackle. I had a swivel in here. Some people say, yeah, it's like must have it.
You absolutely don't. I've got one. It's cool. It helps things from jamming up, but it actually kind of makes it a pain when you're lifting it. It's a pro and a con. Honestly, whichever works.
Right.
All right, you ready? Let's do another photo. All right. You ready for the photo? Yeah. And it's a video. Okay. Jay is my friend, so I gotta mess with him a little. Anyway, but Jay, how happy are you for this, man? You went from chain so rusty, it made the Titanic look like it had brand new chain, and so balled up and naturally rust welded that it looked like a hairball. What was that in there? There was like hair in there, and like.
Remember when we were in St. Martin and all the algae growth that happened on the chain?
Oh yeah, and you just pulled it in and kept it.
I just pulled it in, and because we were in a hurry to leave.
No way. Oh, that stuff was gross. Yeah, no, that was not good. So now you're gonna have cleaner drinking water, which is awesome. You're gonna have a safer boat that will actually stay anchored. You'll be able to handle it without getting cut up by the scaling. Right. Look at those hands. Those are some working hands there. It won't look terrible. The ecology will thank you, right. I'm sure. All in all, I'm very happy, man. I'm really happy that we were able to get all this done. And then it was so cheap, $560 for all that. Yeah, you really don't need to wait until you get to the Caribbean to get cheap stuff down here. And I'm really happy to see that.
I am so stoked. Thank you, Island Water World. I can't say enough about y'all. Appreciate it.
And I'll say it as well, big thank you to Island Water World because I love being able to do this. They've been a great marine chandlery store, having everything that I've needed, literally to do all my projects, even on the hard. So check out those videos when you guys get a chance. All right, Jay, are you happy?
I'm stoked.
All right, let's close this chapter then. One thing actually I wanted to say is when I was working with Island Water World to start with, coming up with different avenues of collaboration, I actually came up with the idea for the Sailor Samaritan charity because of Jay. I was like, here's somebody who's cruising, he's on a budget, and he likes to help other sailors. How can I kind of be more like him? How can I help other sailors out as well? So he's actually the inspiration for this whole program, and I'm really happy he came up with this project that we were able to do together.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Island Water World. So much unexpected. I can't say enough.
Thanks for joining me on this adventure. I hope you feel inspired to begin adventures of your own. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For an exclusive, in-depth look at this adventure lifestyle and to further support my channel, become a member of my Patreon crew. Link in the description. I'll see you on the next adventure.